You're listening to the Urban Sports Scenes Commanders versus Dallas Cowboys game recap. I'm Wole. I'm joined by Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM Hopewell, Virginia's Washington Commanders reporter, Felix Trammell. Felix is live from Texas, so he was in there doing big work down there, man. He's just finished up covering the game, man. What's going on, Felix?
I'm good. How you doing, man? Y'all ready for the snow?
Oh man, I'm annoyed. I hate shoveling snow. And how's the flight? So y'all on? I'm guessing y'all on delay, right, or something like that, right?
Well, I was originally not scheduled to fly out till tomorrow, but people started getting delays and cancellations during the game, so people were kind of scrambling. So I'm supposed to fly out here tomorrow at 12:30, but I might get to Atlanta. So who knows?
That ain't bad. Well, that ain't bad. Well, anyway, in the last game of the season, the regular season, the Washington Commanders defeated the Dallas Cowboys 23-19. Before we discuss the game, and we got to knock out some logistics. They subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel, don't waste any time. Just hit the red subscribe button and also like this video. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right. Felix, I mentioned the game was 23-19. Commanders won. The good guys won. But I want to get your overall thoughts. What are your overall thoughts on the game?
I told people it was going to be ugly. I likened it to a preseason game, and that was kind of that was kind of the energy at least the Commanders gave. Dallas was trying. That was tried for a while, and they continued to try because I think there was a concerted effort from Mike McCarthy. And the players who were there were competing hard for them. But Washington still, with its flaws, was ever out of the game. Yeah. And it just took a play or two and then it finally clicked, and then you saw what you saw. So it was kind of, kind of preseason-ish, but then, the defense was competing hard, and then you can kind of see the offense just come on for the ride at the end. But that was kind of the vibe there. It was still a lot of people. I mean, Cowboys are still an attraction, and there was a ton of Washington fans there. So there was still a pretty live atmosphere. But that's just kind of how the game flow was. It was just kind of preseason-ish. Like, Washington didn't want to show much on offense. They didn't want to show a lot of scheme. And Dallas was severely limited with what quarterback they decided to choose to play. That hampered their offense. So I think that's what we kind of saw.
Were you surprised? I mean, at the way Washington came out in that game, because obviously they talked about playing. I mean, they did play. They took playing Jaden and most of the playing these starters in this game. Are you surprised how flat they looked in the beginning of the game?
Sort of, but I think I've come to expect the team kind of takes Dan Quinn's kind of vibe and persona. They will jump out on you early on, I think Cliff is the more aggressive of the coaching staff. Okay. And when he's allowed to be aggressive and he hits a couple plays, he stays on your neck.
You're in your bag.
The defense kind of just make sure we stay in the game, give the offense a chance. Let's not rock the boat. And I think that's kind of sort of how the team came out. But it was just it wasn't that – I don't even think the play calls were bad. It was just the timing was just off. It was just you could tell it was a little off. Jaden's throws, especially Terry, were just off. They just looked off. Plays were open, but it just looked off. So I think it was more of just that. I mean, long season, knowing that we got to play this game, even though we're kind of looking ahead. So we get this game out the way. So it wasn't that full. It wasn't the same energy as the Eagles game.
Yeah.
I just put it like that. It was nowhere near the same energy as that. And I think emotionally those last couple of weeks, they had 3 emotional games. The Saints game with that, the Eagles game with that, the Falcons game in overtime. So eventually they're going to be like, okay, whatever. And I think that's what we saw.
So So because I had that was my issue with this game because I had preseason vibes as well. That's why I kind of had no issue with Jaden if he didn't start this game. I mean, obviously they had to play like you said, it's a preseason game, so maybe they wanted to give him a half. That was probably the game plan throughout the whole, the game plan pretty much going into the game. But I didn't have an issue playing Mariota throughout this game because I just felt like in the grand scheme of things, I mean, this game really wasn't that much more important than what other people's made it out to be. And I understand why it was because of the Dallas Cowboys, right? For fans, from a fan standpoint, you lost to Dallas here.
From the Dan and Joe Witt perspective, that they were just employed by Dallas, so
that too.
So
yeah, that too. But in the grand scheme of things, obviously, like the most important game is next weekend for this team. It's not week 18 isn't as important as next week, right? So I didn't really have a big emotional connection with this game. You know what I mean? So I guess my thought process, what I'm going to ask you is, do you felt like for some of the players, did they not have that? Because it sounds like the emotion wasn't the same as, like you said, the Eagles game or whatever. Like that same emotion wasn't involved in this game.
I think so because they kind of knew. I mean, they knew for the most part they would be the 6th seed. I mean, it got really competitive at the end, and they didn't know what was going on in the Chicago Green Bay game.
Yeah,
so they didn't have that energy, and then the competitive just kind of kicked up. And I think certain players just brought that out. And I see in the chat people getting a lot of Marcus Mariota. And people when he signed, I actually was talking about 2 years ago bringing him in as a guy, but his maturity, his camaraderie, his mentorship of Jaden, and his working with everyone loves Mariota, and so they were able to see him come out there and perform. Mariota, that did not look like the Mariota that was in Atlanta.
Nah,
he didn't look like Mariota. If the think of the times he's played this season, he played that Carolina game, and for whatever Carolina was, that's still a game in the NFL, and he executed the offense perfectly.
Facts.
Thing today, so you have to look at the whole grand scheme. Like, let's. He kind of brought that kind of competitive nature, and like everyone else followed. So, the energy wasn't there. I mean, but they weren't getting blown out. Like, we gotta look at this. We saw some teams get blown out today. Like,
we did.
I know Kansas City put out a JV roster, but they still lost 38-0. So
they knew what they was doing.
They can get stuff put on their head, but so people got to take it all in perspective. They protected some players. They protected Tyler Bionis. They protected Cornelius Lucas. They protected Lattimore. These guys would have finished this game matter.
Okay.
You have to look at that.
You think Lattimore would have played if this game mattered? You think Lattimore would have played? Okay. All right. That's good to know. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, definitely he would have played. Bionis would have played. Jaden comes back in second half. All those things. So, like, just breathe on those couple things. And you have to also look at Quan. Quan, there's kind of a bug going around. Quan got pulled out doing warm-ups. Like, they watched him warm up, and he just couldn't. He didn't have the same thing, so they sat him down. That is kind of what this team is about now. They're really going protecting players.
Well, it should be. Again, like I said earlier, I said this before the game. Like, if you're halfway healthy, like, you shouldn't be in this game. I just didn't feel like this game was that important, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I know we as fans are, we always want to beat Dallas. Like, you want to beat Dallas. Like, you just want to. And the team sort of feels that way, but the team knows that losing that is not the season. Like,
facts.
They make those judgment calls. Like we always say, they make a business decision. And a business decision, and we're going to go out here and we're going to play. But am I that whole thing after I've given 3 weeks of this effort?
Yeah. Would you say so? I mean, after the game, what was the vibe from the players and coaches? Were they happy with their performance today against the Cowboys?
No. Okay. Especially Reeves. Talking to Reeves, he was he was visibly upset. Most players they were like, all right, we're good. Good job, way to seal the deal, with job, way to do it. Like it was a lot of kind of relief in the locker room. There was a lot of smiles.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But like Jeremy Reeves was visibly upset when me and Donna Hopkins spoke to him. So there was players on that line. Bobby Wagner wasn't that extreme. He was just like, these young guys have to learn how and when to play because it's such a long deal, such a hard deal. But he wasn't mad. He's very calm. If you ever talk to Bobby, he's very calm. But I would say Reeves was the most upset. But everybody just kind of had a relief. There was a lot of smiles. There was a lot of because they know what they accomplished. 12 wins in the NFL is a big deal. Yes. That goal in and of itself, they're like, what? 12 wins. That's what we knew what we could do, even though those outside didn't think that.
Can you go back? Because I think cut out a little bit. So what did Reeves say? What did Reeves say? Did he say what was his what did he actually say? Because you cut out a little bit when you were talking about Reeves.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was just upset. He was upset. He was said we can't come out flat. We can't play lackluster. He was upset. Like you could see it in his face. Like he was thoroughly pissed. And so I think he's going to be main ones this week. Like, hey, we've got to be different. We've got to do something because, to be fair, all three levels of the team had some type of mistake.
Yes,
we had you had the Crowder muff punt. You had the defensive penalties in the second half, or the lack of stopping the run up. You had the off timing on offense, so everybody kind of contributed to that.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I just feel like I like this. I like to see that from Reeves, to be honest with you, because you're going like at the end of the day, like you do. The reason why some of these players were playing is because they want to look strong going into the postseason. That was that's the thought process. That's the reason why even Jaden's out there. The reason why Jaden is even out there, right? The reason why Terry McLaurin is still out there throughout the end of the game, right? At the end of the day, you want to look good going into the postseason, just like you treat like a preseason game, like that final preseason, like the second traditionally. That second preseason game, right, or third preseason game. It's the third preseason game. The third preseason game is the dress rehearsal game, right? So typically, you want your first unit to look good going into the regular season, right? That's the idea. That's the thought process. So this game, to me, like you didn't get that from the first unit, right? For like your real starters. So I would be pissed off if I'm Jeremy Reeves. It makes sense to me. I like that mentality, to be real with you.
Yeah. So he wasn't mad at them. He was just mad at the effort because he knows what it takes. What you've got to do when you get to the playoffs. So I think that he's like you're playing with that, but you got to, like you just said, they won 5 in a row going to the playoffs. That's momentum.
That's true.
That's why winning that game mattered today. Is you want to say, hey, we walked into the playoffs winning 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
So we know who we are.
Okay.
We're a good team, and you're going to have more wins than Tampa, who you're facing. But Tampa beat you first game. Sure. Now, they should have the natural motivation from that alone. We are not the team that went out there September 12th or September 11th, whatever day that was. They're a whole different team in January, and they need to go out there and prove it.
I agree with that. I do think that because a lot of people were talking about the Rams and like the Rams are dunking Washington or what. So I was like, I ain't dunking us. That's the Rams. McVay just does that often. That's his thing. But I was like, a good matchup. Like I felt like if we're gonna talk about, and I don't like using the term like who you're gonna match up with. I feel like when you have JD5, you should feel confident enough to play whoever. That's just my mentality. But I will say this: if I'm going to use that argument about matchup, I do think that about playing Tampa, there's something about get back that is a very good incentive more than anything. Like we've all felt it. Like somebody got the best of you the first time. You like, yo, give me my opportunity. I got you back. It could be as simplistic as growing up young and you get in this fight with this person and they got you the first time. You said the second time, bro, I got you. Like I'm gonna get you back. You know what I mean? So it's just the same thing on this front of being that game at Tampa. They punched you in the mouth. Like they beat you. That's one that I always said that's the game that sticks in my mind of saying like that's the game that I feel like throughout the only game I feel like this team's been dominated in, to be real with you, was that Tampa game. And
I agree.
You get your get back about that. You get your get back.
Yeah, because you gotta look at it this way. They lost to the Cowboys the first time, they got the revenge. They lost to the Eagles the first time, they got their revenge.
Yes,
so
sir.
Now you get a chance to play Tampa again. You know what Tampa's going to do. Tampa's not the same Tampa. There's no Chris Godwin. That Mike Evans just passed the 1,000-yard mark on the last play because they wanted to make sure he got that stat. But it's not the same team. So Washington needs to understand that and know you're not going to play them when it's 100 degrees now.
That too.
Like that, I think that he played a factor more than a lot of people want to say. Because remember, Washington didn't play a lot of starters most of the preseason. Then they got out there and tried to play a full game in 100 degrees. That ain't gonna happen. So, but like you said, we match up against like the Rams inside on turf with a good receiving core. Kyron Williams, Tampa with Mayfield likes to move around, and Mike Evans. Like, you're replacing good teams. It's the playoffs.
There you go, buddy. There you go.
Like everyone here for a reason. Like there's no rubs here now. So you just got to go out there and play your game. Like you said, you JD5. So if you 5 and he's ready to go, you believe you can take on anybody and beat them. And that's the motto anytime, anywhere, any place. Or I can't probably mess it up, but that's your motto. Live by the motto. It doesn't matter who you play.
I totally.
I saw somebody ask a question.
I see a question right here about Paul. You know this question here?
Yeah. The answer is no, because they're going back home. They were able to get out. Dallas right now has like 40-mile-per-hour gusts. Y'all think it's bad at home? The temperature dropped from 65 to like 35.
In Dallas, real?
It's hours.
In Texas?
It is bad. It's really cold out there. So a lot of flights. They were chartered. They were able to go home. They were playing until about 20 minutes ago when the Rams lost. So they're not going to be able to do that. That's a good question, kind of how they did from Cincinnati to Arizona.
But
no, because they're not even going to know what time or what day they play until the next hour or two when the NFL announces it. So they're going to be unable to do that. I kind of think they'll play the Sunday early game.
Think so? I have a vibe for Saturday for some strange reason. I don't know why, but go ahead though. Go ahead. I don't know why.
I think they're going to have. I think they're going to keep the Ravens on that day, and maybe the Texans Steelers game on that day. I just kind of, but I do think the Tampa game will be the Sunday game, the Sunday, the first 1 o'clock game. But no, they were unable to do that just because the logistics, like they didn't know. Like we literally were trying to figure out who they're going to play while they're playing. So they weren't able to do that. Go ahead.
Nah, I feel like that was definitely going to be a tough one. Dujane said, "What's up, Dujane?" Said, "Tampa's a great matchup. They aren't any but different than the Falcons. The Bucs have a bad habit of not showing up and being consistent every week." Yeah, I kind of agree. I think I agree.
They do play better at home. Better at home. But you if you're able to kind of throw their timing off, they can be beat. Like, and also today the Saints were up 3.5 quarters today.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, like you take everything with a grain of salt. Like they were just down for 3 quarters on the Saints with Spencer Rattler. If you're going law averages, and Tampa played all their people, they had to.
Yes.
With Spencer Rattler or JD5. Like I don't think that's not even a question that's fair to even ask.
Good point, buddy. Good point.
You got to understand that. So I think it's a good matchup because I mean. You're just going to have to deal with Mike Evans, and I guarantee you, as soon as Tampa, they knew they were playing Tampa, the biggest smile was on Marshawn Lattimore. That's going to be a match.
Oh man, that's the matchup. That's the matchup.
Fans always want to say about players are always cool. Those two don't like each other.
Those two hate each other. That's the one. That's the matchup I want, man. I can't wait. I mean, I just want to see that. I just want to see it because you know the track record for that, and you know Baker's going to try to force the ball to him, and you just know Marshall will be ready because he's used to it. You know what I mean? He's used to it. Yeah, here you go. Dude just said none of this soft defense that Joe Witt been called. Look, man. I ain't arguing. Hey, dude, I ain't arguing with you, bro. I ain't going to hold you. I'm really not going to argue. Go ahead. What you want to say?
I don't think it's Joe Witt's play calls. I think they don't quite have all the personnel they need to run what he wants to run. The weakness today was the middle of the defense, and that's sad to say. You have 2 first-rounders who are in the middle of the field. Dallas's offense today runs up the middle.
Yeah.
That was Dallas's offense. It's here and there, but he missed more than he made. Dallas was up the middle, and Tampa doesn't present as good of a running game, but
Bucky Irvin, all right though.
So I know Bucky Irvin's really good. He's more of an outside runner, which kind of Washington defends better than up the gut runners. Because if you the runners that did well against Washington, Derrick Henry up the middle, Bijan started Saquon up the middle.
Yeah, but don't everybody do? I mean, real talk. Everybody kind of does. Bijan is really outside.
I mean, but I keep telling people Bijan is a lot closer to Saquon than you think.
Bijan, no, I know he is. Oh, I have the utmost respect for both of those dudes.
So
I'm just saying, like,
people
to me, like
Bijan did this and this. Yes, he's that good. Yeah. So I think, but I still think the weakness of the defense is the line, and it's more of they don't do the things that Joe Witt's defense needs them to do. Yeah. And so today ran a lot of heavy line like they did last week, where they like Deron Payne was playing in. But it was a little different.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you get in Texas. Like Texas can get real cold. Texas can be real cold. Luckily, I've got the real jacket in my bag because it's real cold.
Jeremy says, I pray the Commanders can win the turnover battle, manage the clock well, and give max effort. Yeah, that's the most important thing.
I think that's the key that had winning a lot of games early in the year was possessing the ball. They've got to get back to running the ball more efficiently, and I think getting Eckler some snaps today is going to really help because they gave him enough for him to get hit again. You got to get hit. Yeah, you got to. Now you can play him more next week, and I think he changes the rushing offense because he can run from shotgun. And I've said this for weeks.
Oh yeah,
Brian Robinson not a good shotgun runner. He's not. He didn't do it in high school. He didn't do it at Alabama. He was a deep 7 yards back out of the I formation, a single back, running downhill, straight to a hole. Go. He's not a read zone runner and cut up the field. That's what Eckler does. So if you want to put Jaden back there, you need in shotgun, Eckler's going to need to be a runner more than B-Rob. And so if you get in pistol more, you can run more downhill. But it's an easier tell when the running back's in shotgun. So I think that's more of a B-Rob thing, is more scheme, but it takes him a while to get going. And he's more of a battering runner. So he only had 5 carries for 10 yards. I mean, that's not going to do much.
I mean, that's not for him. He needs more carries. I mean, he's a work. He's that type of back that needs more carries.
Absolutely.
But I do like that. I mean, like excuse me. To your point about Eckler, I'm just glad he's back. I didn't want him to play. To be real with you, I didn't want him to play, but I'm glad. I mean, it worked out, so I'm cool with it. As long as it works out, nothing happened, so I'm good. You know what I mean? Any which way, but. I think
it's more. Logan Paulson actually said this that he needed to play to kind of get hit again.
Yeah, it makes sense though.
Your body has to readjust to it. So now that your body readjusts to it, he's okay. They weren't going to go have him out there playing 25, 30 snaps.
Question says, C-Rod got no snaps today. Will they play him versus the Bucks? I doubt it. I ain't gonna lie to you, but go ahead. And I like C-Rod.
I will say this. McNichols was a little banged up, but if McNichols is fine and Eckler is fine, then C-Rod's going to be odd man out. And he probably doesn't dress next week because
I'll say, I'm with you.
They had some extra dress. He technically dressed, but he was only going to go in there on an emergency. Like he wasn't going to flat out like he was going to get his bird. Unfortunately, he's that fourth person. He's just that fourth option. And I do like him, but he's going to be the fourth option.
And we keep the bean too. Also, I mean, if he ain't played today, that's all you need to know. Like
today was more injury related. Today was more injury related. Today they just didn't want him to get. They really. I'm sorry, that was more. I think C-Rob had a few snaps. I don't know. Let me see. I thought he played.
Like I would think. Excuse me. I would think if anything, he would get a lot of carries today. That's all I'm saying. He would have got He would have got at least a good 10 carries today. If anything, if we had signs that he would play in a playoff game, with Eckler being back, he would at least got some carries today.
Yeah, he didn't.
I would think
he's not on the stat sheet.
Yeah,
They don't do those till the morning.
To the morning. But I didn't see him out there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't see him out there. He had none. That's what I thought. Paul, I didn't see him out there at all. That's what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, I was trying to see if he was even out there on like a pass.
Yeah, Brian won't even lie to you. I didn't see him.
I got to see if he only plays specials.
So that's my point. So my thing is like with Eckler, because Eckler is back, right? So since Eckler is back, and you didn't see C-Rod at all, and this was just a meaningless. And I'm gonna say it was a meaningless game for me. It was a meaningless game, but you saw B-Rob and Eckler together. You saw those two. Nichols will be back. You're not going to see C-Rod like that. You're just not. Oh, he said C-Rod. Okay, he said C-Rod getting C-Rod 4th and 1. Eckler's not so much. C-Rod is getting 4th and 1. You have Brian Robinson Jr.
They both get it, but I mean it's more play call than anything. They're not the Eagles or Ravens where they can line up in heavy 4th and 1 and just go downhill and get it. They are not that team.
Yeah, so I'm just
got to see them for the ones.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep the bean and y'all know I like C-Rod. I like C-Rod. I'm just saying like that lets you know already. When I saw that, I was like, all right, well, it is what it is. So for you, Felix, I'm going positive. What made you feel good about today's performance? What made you feel good about today's performance?
I did like the offense. I like Mariota playing.
You mean Mariota? Yeah.
I like Mariota. I like the secondary. I like Mikey played great. I think people see plays that you see him play, but there's some stuff that doesn't show up on camera that he does that's really, really good. That's taking away options. Mikey played well. Bobby Wagner, I just can't begin to mention how good he is. Like
he's pretty good.
He's really good. Like he's very underrated. Also Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz got a lot of heat. When Zach Ertz stepped up when you need him to step up and they need a big catch, they go to Ertz as much as they go to Terry.
Yeah.
And Ertz for the last few weeks has been delivering. Because
Yeah.
I think Ertz wore that Steelers game a lot, and I still to this day say it was a bad spot, but he knows if he gets that first down what that means, and he kind of wore that forward, which you can see him making those plays. It's like you saw the touchdown today, you saw the play before Terry's touchdown, Zach Ertz's catch, stuff like that would be some of my stars that are kind of underrated. And Zane Gonzalez,
good job. Good job.
Let's not forget, Zane has come in and he's kicking confidently. Remember, Turpin had his return last time. Remember, Cyber kicked it short. Every kickoff went there, the back of the end zone. And Turpin was not a factor in the return game. That meant a lot.
Yeah, this is true. Secondary. Some of the secondary play well. Yeah, some.
I mean, look at it. Chen played well. He led the team in tackles.
Yeah.
Chen
looked good, man. Chen looked good.
Jake Ferguson looked bad, especially when Chen was on him. He couldn't catch a cold. Chin played well. They were doing. Percy played well because Percy filled in Quan, and then Defoe was coming in. So
Defoe was playing. So Defoe was playing. Defoe was playing.
So what would happen is we're in base. The safeties would be Defoe and Percy, and Chin would walk out. When they would go to nickel, Chin would go back. Defoe would come out, and Noah would come in and play the nickel corner. So that was kind of the rotation. So every time depending on what they were going to, either Noah was coming in as the slot and Defoe came off, or if they were in base, Defoe would come in and Noah would come off, and Chin would walk down.
So Percy was starting. So Defoe wasn't starting. Percy was starting. And when they had two safeties out there.
Yeah. And so
I was like, I couldn't tell. I just kept seeing Defoe.
It's more of a 2-for-1.
Huh?
It's more of a 2-for-1.
Got you.
Like, Percy would be the sub. Defoe would have been the sub in base. Percy would have been the sub in nickel. Let's do it like that. Because if Quan was out there, that shift is not changing. That shift is not happening.
Got you. No, I got you. Just 25.
But shout out to Mikey. Mikey played great. I'll give Michigan its due when it's due. Mikey played great. I think they found a real gem in Mikey. His ball anticipation is really good. I think next year with more pieces around the defense, he's going to have more picks. Like it's coming.
Yeah,
you see it.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's there. But they found a real good one in Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey. I think Mikey will be a guy who'll get multiple picks. At like a 3-4, like a 4-pick year or 5. He's that type of dude. It's like I'm with you. More talent around him, more real opportunities because Mikey hasn't really gotten real opportunities to get picks. But I think once he gets, because he doesn't get scared when the ball's in the air. That's what I like about Mikey. He doesn't panic.
He doesn't panic, and that's what 5 does. And everybody, I see that they're going off on.
They're going on him. I'm trying to stay positive.
I say off of it, but Mikey doesn't panic, and I think that's the biggest key in a DB is you don't panic, and he doesn't panic. He finds, and I'm going to say this: that pass interference on St. Juice, I thought was a very bad call. He got the call because he is Benjamin St. Juice and gets flags all the time. So that's why he got that call. He actually plays it well, turns his head, fights with the receiver because the receiver was grabbing him as much as grab. That should have been a no call. Now, the defensive holding definitely was him. That's fine. But that was a 5-yard penalty, whatever.
Yeah.
I do not think that pass interference was on him, but that is his reputation because he actually did play the trail, turn his head, got through the ball. That is exactly what William Gay and all the defensive back coaches want him to do, and he did it perfectly. I just think that was a bad call. And
it was a horrible call. It was a horrible call. I said this on I think on our post game show, and I said this. I just prefer call what you see rather than reputation. I don't care about your reputation. Call what you see.
And I agree. That's just like the superstar calls in basketball. Like if the receiver initiates contact, which he did, and they're hand fighting, and they both get hands on the ball and they don't catch it, boom, that's fair. Life is fair. Now, if I'm the receiver and I'm running and the other guy grabs me, then we have a discussion. But if he grabs me and I push back, and then we both hit the ball and he doesn't catch it, that's fair game. So I think that's a bad call on St. Juice because in the first half, nobody heard his name because he did his. You got to think about it. The Cowboys did not score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. They weren't bombing the ball down the field. Part of that's Trey Lance, but he covered the receivers he was supposed to recover. Brandon Cooks did not have a good game. Like you got to look at those sort of things. St. Juice did his job, and I know he's going to get that reputation, which is
it's on him. It's warranted.
But 2 penalties. I mean, we've had linemen hold 3 or 4 times in the game. We're not trying to shoot them. Or we have people dropping the ball. We're not trying to shoot them. So
we'll get to them.
I know you going there.
We don't get to them. We don't get to them.
So I know.
Go ahead.
He's back to Oz. But St. Juice is just an enigma to me. He's just a weird enigma. But as you saw, he was a lot better than Mike Davis. Like St. Juice can move. He's got good size. You just don't need him to panic. And if you can teach that from Mikey, copy this. Don't panic. You're in position. You're okay. And to be fair, Percy, sometimes it was Defoe, sometimes it was Mikey, helped over the top and took plays away as safeties. So it's okay. Don't panic.
Yeah.
And I think you got to do that. Now, that's not to say that they're not going to redo the cornerback position next year. Because to be fair, I only see 2 of the corners right now on this team next year. Well, 3. I'm sorry. More will be here. Will be here.
I mean, obviously. You said corners, or you said safeties. You said safeties and corners. Just corners. You said Noah's gonna be here. I hope. I like Noah. Some of y'all here don't like Noah, but I like Noah. Go ahead.
Noah does what he needs to do well, and Noah kind of, let me say this now. Devontae Turpin runs a 4.240.
I know.
Not many humans are going to run with him if he's on a clean release, which the Cowboys schemed up pretty well.
They did,
and I'm shocked that they don't do that with Dak when Dak's back there and everyone's healthy. But I don't get it. I don't get it from me. But that's a pretty accurate statement. He's better than most of what they have.
Yeah, he is though. Are you dealing with the wait? Hold on, Felix, what did Paul say? Felix, you are dealing with the multiverse right now. Talking about.
I mean, as soon as you say it, and I've never seen, and I shouldn't say it, but in the press box, I've never seen a universal angst when someone comes on the field. It's like, oh shoot, it's St. Juice.
Yeah,
I've seen
it's bad, ain't it though? Ain't it bad though?
Really bad, man.
It's bad, man.
Like you're just like, all right, he's okay, and then you don't hear him. You don't hear from him for 2 quarters. Like you don't hear St. Juice's name.
Yeah.
And then it's just one play, and you're like, oh god. And then,
you know what? I'm gonna be real with you, my guy. Like, I'm not the biggest St. Juice supporter in the world, so I'm not gonna even act like I am. But I do feel bad for him because I feel like what you're talking about. I think he feels it.
Yeah,
he feels it himself. Like it's too. I think it's adding on to the point of like when the ball's like he never reacted well to the ball in the air, right? But I do feel like now it's even more intensified now, where to a point where now he's overthinking about playing football, and it's wild. Like you could see it. Like even like the PI he got that he was wrongfully accused for the PI, but you could see the emotion in his face. You could see the one he got caught with, the one he did get caught, the holding call, and just how his demeanor. Like if you watch, like they did the close up on his face, it just changed. It was like woe is me, type of thing for real.
You're not wrong because after that one in the end zone, it looked like he almost could cry. And then, you could see, Bobby and somebody coming to him, you're okay. Keep playing. It's hard. And athletes, we always consider them to be superhuman and all this stuff. They're emotional beings. And, he's like, crap, here it comes again. I'm going to be the fault. Because, he probably blames himself for the Steelers game as much as the fans blame the refs. On that play. But you've got to let it go. And for the long time, I don't know how to teach that. I've coached for years, and you're trying to understand it's okay to mess up in the moment.
Yeah,
you've got to let it go. One mistake is fine. 12 mistakes is not. If you let that one lead to 12, then there's another discussion. But I'm with you. He was fine. He was making plays. I think he had a couple the run game. He was doing.
He did some good. He tried. Yeah.
And then it was just that one penalty, and then the next penalty. and it both happened on the same drive.
Yeah, you can see it though. Like I don't wish anybody like I may not be a fan of you, but I'm not gonna wish anybody like that type of mental anguish. Like you can see it. Like I'm like, dang, bro. Like you. I mean, I may not think you be the greatest, but I mean, the one thing you have going for you made it to the NFL. You shouldn't lose like confidence in who you are. And I don't see confidence. And at playing corner, that's one thing you need to have. You got to believe that on the next play you go and get it. Like, and I think he's lost that at the moment, and we don't know what's going to happen to him from this year to like from here after. And hopefully he does turn around because I think that he will be on the field sometimes, folks. So, like,
right,
I just hope personally.
He's a great special teamer. Huh? He's a great special team. If you watch him on special teams, he does a great job. And I think if you utilize the right way, he can do certain things. But him being a lockdown corner, I don't think it's one of those things because the bigger difference between him and Marshawn Lattimore does not care.
Facts.
That one play. The next play, I'm getting it. I'm getting right back at him. The next play, I'm getting right back at him. Like, I don't care. You called that penalty. It was crap. I'm going right back at him. Yeah. And that's the difference between those two.
I'm going to play the same way.
Marshawn doesn't necessarily run faster or it's just that confidence. Like, in the NFL, the two most confident positions you need to be is quarterback, and cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
If those two, you have to be confident. There's got to be an arrogance to you. And I think St. Juice had the wrong type of arrogance. He had the arrogance outside, but he don't have the arrogance between the white lines.
Yeah. Oh, no. That
is the problem.
Yeah. But, like, your eyes don't lie when you watch him on football, playing football. Like, and I do, like, I know you're saying, Jeremy, like, you know, St. Jude's lack of confidence has everything to do with his play, right or wrong. Yeah, I'm not. You can't get penalized and give up touchdowns at that rate and be delusional thinking you're him. Yeah, I agree with that. But it's like to what Felix is talking about. Like, for instance, let's go to like go back to the Eagles Commanders game where AJ Brown caught the ball on him. Then he got a couple PIs, but he still played the same way. That didn't change his way. I'm talking about Lattimore. It didn't change Lattimore on how he was going to play AJ Brown. He was still going to be physical. He didn't care. That didn't bother him. That like they were bogus. The PI was bogus, but it didn't change the way he played football.
This to your point. Remember after that third one, they had their play in the end zone.
And the slant. He was all over him. Yeah, I remember that.
He was all over him. And
he was all over him. Yeah,
and he never backed down. And so that's what it got to be. People got to understand. Corners give up touchdowns. This is an offensive league. It's an offensive league. Cornerbacks are going to give up touchdowns. Sometimes it's even going to be you're going to get called for a penalty. Whatever. Play the game. Because look at the moment you had it. Boom. He knocks the ball out. The Eagles kick a field goal instead of scoring a touchdown. And then Washington comes back and wins the game.
You got a question from Chris Manu. Chris says, "What's up with B-Rob lately? They need to run him from the I formation. He like I said, like Derrick Henry, and run RPO with Eckler from the gun or C-Rod. Your thoughts?"
Yeah, I've said this for a while. B-Rob is not a shotgun runner. He is a high formation runner. So he needs to line up. And the Ravens and Titans did disservice to Derrick Henry when they would line him up in shotgun, because if you ever watch him in shotgun, he lines up 2 steps deeper than the quarterback, which is a tell that he's running the ball. B-Rob is 7 yards deep, getting the ball, looking at the hole. That's the type of runner he is. So think back to those Emmitt Smiths and Ernest Byners, and I'm taking it back for these, you know.
Ernest Byners, you really sounded back. That's my
those runners, that's how they rank. Eckler.
Oh, like what's the name? Like go ahead.
Like Glenn, even Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was a downhill type guy because that's
Thurman Thomas too.
Thurman Thomas. Those type guys. When you look at Eckler's more like LaDainian Tomlinson was. He could run from shotgun. So he can run that zone. He can figure it out, then press a hole and get upfield. B-Rob is not that type runner. So he gets that and he starts to go sideways. B-Rob loses his effectiveness because he's also 6'1", 220 pounds. So he's not going to be shifty. Like you see those guys that are doing that, those kind of scat backs, like what's your boy for the Cowboys around today? The one from Kansas State, a little short one.
For the Cowboys? Oh, you talking about Vaughn?
Yeah, Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn can do this. He's 5'5". He can tuck in and do that. Now, Rob can't physically do that. Not because B-Rob is not a good. It's because that's not how he's physically built. So for the Commanders and Cliff and to work with Jaden Daniels, they need to use him more out of the pistol. Now you get him out of the pistol, run downhill, and let him get to those holes he needs to get to. He needs to be old 32 I formation. That's what B-Rob is. That's what he did at Alabama. He didn't get the ball from shotgun. So now for those RPO plays are coming out of shotgun. They're not coming out of pistol or I formation. So that Cliff has to figure the interminglability out because putting him in shotgun allows the line to slant a certain way. It takes away certain things that he can do, but it's better for Jaden.
All right, you got one from
That's
George.
Why you don't have to have those 6.2. But go ahead.
No, you got one from George. George had a question for you. He says, Felix, it looked like a good turnout of Commanders fans from what I've seen in the highlights. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was a good crowd. They announced 91,000. I don't think so, but Jerry World is big. There was a lot of Commanders fans. There's a good number of Commanders fans already down here in Texas. There's a lot of already fans down here. Now, a decent number to travel because on my flight here, there was about 6 or 7. When I went on Saturday, good Commanders crowd. I don't know if you could hear it on TV, but when they started coming back and they took the lead,
I heard it. You heard it.
Was really loud.
Yeah.
So that I think that helped itself. But there was a lot of Commanders fans there, and Jerry doesn't care. Jerry cares about the bottom line. So, I've seen more there, but there was a good crowd for Week 18 because Cowboys weren't really in it, but there was a good Commanders presence in the stands.
Yeah, I heard it. I think I heard it after. When I heard it after the Ertz touchdown. I think I heard them cheering pretty loudly after the Ertz touchdown.
Absolutely.
Obviously the Terry touchdown. That's a count.
And when the Terry touchdown, you heard the crowd.
You heard it. Yeah, they went crazy for the Terry touchdown. You heard I heard it. It was even louder for the Terry touchdown, but the Ertz is where I was like, oh, that's when I kind of there's a lot. There are a lot of fans in Dallas.
And I don't. Unless they always show up on TV. Because Jerry has so many seats, but there was a lot of Commanders fans on all levels, all suites, all that. So it was a good crowd.
So, we talked about this team, the way they couldn't stop the run, but Jonathan Allen had a sack. What was your thoughts on Jonathan Allen's performance?
Not bad. Now, the running issues up the middle come from a couple of reasons. One is it's the initial formation that they line up in with the D tackles.
So you said
there's a wide. So there's a scheme. There's a scheme aspect.
They're doing wide 9.
They're not doing wide 9, but they're basically both A gaps are uncovered.
Okay.
When they're in base, gotcha. So it's easier for a center to turn and combo with the guard and push one of the away, or and wash completely down. Center guard and wash the 2 tackles out. And if you notice, the Cowboys runners were patient. They were kind of wait, let them slide, and then tuck in behind them. So they've got to hold up the point a little bit more. But for Jonathan per se, he's trying to get himself back into shape. He's not in full snap shape yet. You can see he gets winded some, but the good sack. It was a good sack. He did show good explosion there. So he's still trying to get his legs back, trying to really get to. But that's what teams on them, and that's what Atlanta did. That's what Dallas did. That's what Philly did for the first 2 quarters. they're going to have to counteract that. And the only problem is if you keep walking Bobby Wagner and or Frankie Louvu in the A gaps, if they get washed, there's nobody left.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Okay, all right.
So I think it's a little bit scheme, but and if you notice the last two games, they've had a heavy front to be like Payne and Allen, Sheldon Day, Dorrance as your four linemen. So it holds up good against the run to the outside because the tackles came. The problem is if they play action, there was one play that Trey Lance stood there for like 10 seconds.
I know.
And he finally passed, and it was caught because I was like, I don't know what secondary in the world was covering for 10 seconds.
I think they called. I think it's called on Mikey. I think Tolbert called it on Mikey. Was that play?
Yeah. I wasn't mad at Mikey. Mikey covered him from 10 seconds.
Yeah, for a minute. I know. I was so mad at that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I agree. Way types, Federian didn't work out, but they're going to have to get some that can hold the nose. And maybe not if Joe Witt doesn't want to line them up in that one gap or that one set, two set. You got to get something where you middle and not get pushed back. And I think that's something that they're going to look for in the offseason because Federian for them didn't do it. They let Ridgeway walk. Payne and them can't do it. That's not what they're built for. They're three techs. They're not ones or zeros. Sheldon has done it better, but even then, he's not going to get as many snaps now because Jonathan Allen's back. Yeah. So then Johnny Newton is more of a pass rushing guy.
Exactly. It's not.
He's more of a one gap, get up the field sort of guy. And so I think you're just going to have to find some personnel to match that scheme to stop that run.
So basically, your three best tackles, how I look at it, are like kind of similar.
Yeah, Allen is the one, but Payne and Allen are very similar. Johnny Newton is a more explosive Payne, but he's a little shorter. So they're like I said, they're able to get 3-on-2 a lot, and when you get 3-on-2, usually the offense wins on that.
Got you. Yeah, that's the thing. When I look at them, I'm like, to me, these guys are typically they're pass rush D tackles in a way. And I just don't feel like they don't have their run stuff and do. They're all the same. So your mentality is a little different. Their mentality is to get the quarterback. And you don't have guys who just want to just go out there and stuff the run. You know what I mean? That's what
they're going to have to add. And I think that's one of Joe Witt's going to ask for two things. He's going to ask for another cornerback. He's going to ask for a run-stopping D tackle. I think if you get those two elements in this defense, the defense goes to the next level. Yeah,
I just feel like that's why the Mathis thing kind of confused. It's okay, though. I'm not going to say anything about that. The staff does what they want. The staff does what he wants to do. You know what?
I saw the writing on the wall with that in August.
I think a lot,
But I'll also say this. It was real weird to see them post that video. I think it's a picture of Joe Witt in a locker room Eagles game, and next to him is Federian in street clothes, and then he's cut. It's 5 days later. I will say that was kind of weird.
Yeah, they wild, man. It's okay though. I mean, I'm here not to ask questions. They win the game, so that's why I don't ask questions. I just like, man, you got it.
They get mad at 12 wins.
Yeah, you can't be mad at it. That's what I'm saying. Chris said it. Your boy Oz dropped the bomb from Diami. You dropped it right on him, bro. Oz is off and on. Yo, so yeah. So that's why. Thank you, Chris. So this is what I wanted to bring up. Because I forgave Olamide. I forgave him, and I was like, Jollof Rice. We back. We in the fan. We here, bro. We together. We a team. We on one. And then this game hit. That Diami pass, that drop. First, he dropped one on the out route that hit his hands. He just dropped it. Right. I called that. Say what?
Yeah, he dropped that from Jaden. That was the perfect out route.
I called that one. See, that to me is like that isn't. You dropped an NFL wide receiver catch. Like that's an NFL wide receiver. Like that's an easy NFL wide receiver catch. That's why I called that one. Right. An easy NFL wide receiver catch. You dropped that. Okay, whatever. The one that Diami threw to you, you dropped a Pee-wee football easy catch, which bothers me. Like you lucky, like you and you called some plays after that, so we can give you your flowers, right? But you catch that play, the dynamic of the game changes if you catch that play. Like what you had to go through, you probably don't have to go through that. But that pass was so easy. It wasn't like the defender was gonna like bothered you because you had him burnt. The play had him burnt. Let me correct that. The play had him burnt. Yo, when you saw that, what was the first thing that came out your mind, bro?
Well, first thing I was about to say was get off Cliff's back because Cliff is finding ways to get people off.
Yeah.
Second, give Diami his credit. And I told people this from July. Diami looks good. And if you notice, Diami's getting more and more in this offense. He gets a lot of those big screens.
Man, he had a whole drive, bro. He had a whole drive.
Like, he had a lot of plays. Third, that was a perfect throw. And I've always been told that the easiest ones are the hardest to catch. It looked like, looking at the ball, like, this is a great throw. Like, this is good. Washington's going to take the lead. The click goes on. Because if you take the lead right there, everything changes. I was like, okay, we can't do what we've been doing. We're going to have to turn it up a little bit, cause them to make a mistake. Trey Lance threw balls all over the place. He probably right to Washington. And he claps his hands too early and drops it. And I'm like, this is the perfect time for a Terry McLaurin body catch. Anything. But you can't drop that back. And he knows it, but it doesn't change the fact that it happened. And for all the amazing stuff they're going to remember that drop. And so I just sat there like, this is the perfect play call. It settles everything down, and you just drop it. You just dropped it. And I mean, and like I said, he like turned his feet wrong. This is why I tell people who play baseball. Everyone have your kids play baseball. As an outfielder in baseball, rule number 1 is you flip your hips to keep your shoulder free to the ball. He turned the wrong way. So then he tried to readjust and almost single fair catch. I don't know, sort of thing. He like does this, and then he's still there. And then he does the panic move, which the 10-year-old girls are starting softball do. They to catch the ball.
Yeah, I know he panicked. He panicked when the
ball was to you. So I get it. He was back to on that play. Like you're back to Oz, but he did everything wrong on such a good play call. I mean, it was perfect. Dallas was fooled. He would have walked in, everything would have been fine.
Yo.
Like those plays, those are the ones that you get mad about because those are plays that can't happen. Now, if you drop a hard catch or a contested catch, that's
different. That's different. Yeah.
You can't drop that pass because if that play is schemed up next week and you
I don't trust you. Yeah, I can't trust you. Yeah, I'm serious.
It's tough. Like, I mean, most people is making that catch. My mom, 68, she's gonna catch the ball. Like it's tough. It's real tough.
I don't know. I'm gonna be real with you. When you drop a pass like that, this is me. I don't know if I could trust you throwing you the football. Period. Like that's just me. Like because to your point, it's the same thing we talked about. Benji, for real talk. We talk about how he panicked when the ball's in the air. Like he panicked, yo. You're a receiver wide open. You panicked. Like he panicked. Right. And I'm like, I mean, it's not like it's sunny outside. You playing in control. Go ahead, Felix.
And the sun's behind him too.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. Like
going to the end zone, so the sun is to his back, and he wasn't even low enough to come to the window yet. So there was nothing. There was no excuse.
There's nothing, bro. There was nothing, man. That's what bothers me. It's just
did you lose? Did you watch yourself in the big screen as the ball was coming down? Like, did you get run off by the screen?
I don't know, man. Like you're in the playoffs. I don't know. Like you obviously you have to put you. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like I don't know if you can trust him out there like on big plays like that. Because now, granted, he's made some big plays. He's made
time. He made a couple of good catches.
Yeah,
right in the third quarter.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, good, you got it out your system, but we can't forget this play.
You can't forget this play. Yeah,
Washington have to win at the end versus being in the lead at the end.
There you go. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I've been like I'm like Chris said, hot and cold. He on and off. I don't get it with him. Like I just can't.
I do think he has a good rapport with Jaden.
I think so
that
too.
Matters. Because he's going to be the one throwing the ball 8% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to catch pretty much a fair catch thing, and that was some of the problems he was having returning punts.
Yep, exactly.
And so I think you should be playing baseball so you would understand how a pop fly works. Run come straight at you. And so I think he does. The hardest is the one that's coming straight at you, and that's what he was doing. But it's got to be caught. Like it just has to be caught. Like it's a waste of a good play. Like I think that probably is the bigger thing is because Cliff had this play, and when I talked to De'Ami about it, we've had this play for weeks. Just waiting on the moment to use it. Mm-hmm. They use it, and then that happens.
That's
because De'Ami was a high school quarterback. I forgot
he threw a great. All right, so I was going to ask you that question too. So it's going to sound so stupid, but like, do you think that impacted him catching the ball is coming from a left-handed passer? He's used to catching it from righty. I'm trying, Felix. I'm trying. Like I'm really trying.
But that's more on a ball that's coming across.
Okay,
that ball was up in the air. He had enough to adjust to it. But like I was sitting there, like, De'Ami just do it. He's lefty. And then I looked downfield. I'm like, oh, he's 15 yards past everybody. That's an easy touchdown.
Yeah.
So, like just speaking with De'Ami, he already said they've had this play for weeks. They were just waiting on the first time to use it, and boom. But De'Ami took the responsibility. He was like, "Yo, I got to throw a better pass." We know De'Ami.
Whoa, he said that out. He said out of his mouth.
He said it because he was covering for his teammate.
Nah, don't worry. No, it's okay.
No, when we weren't there, he might get on him.
Yeah,
but
that's
in front of us, he was like, "Nah."
Well, that's what's up, though. That's what's up. Like, I wouldn't throw my teammate in the bus, but I would have been like, no comment, and then kept it moving. And then I would hit him with then I would hit, and then I would have talked to I would be trashing OZ because I'm calling him OZ now. I'll feel ashamed to call him Olamide. I don't even want to call Olamide because everybody would know he's Nigerian. I feel like with dropping a pass like that, he can't be Nigerian.
He's back to Oz.
I think Oz. Yeah, he Oz. I think
he's OZ when he's balling, and it's Oz. So he's OZ against the Eagles.
Yeah, he Oz, man. He's Oz right now. You go hold on. What did Deluxe say? The ball flies very different from a left versus righty. Yeah, it trails off very different. Even the spiral can mess with hands. But it was a bomb by himself, though.
Definitely agree. But he had enough time to adjust to it because of the hovering in the air. Like whoever just said that was a great.
It was Deluxe, man. Deluxe.
Like when you, especially coming across the middle, like the Falcons receivers, and I asked Drake London about this last week in passing. I was like, how different? And it's way different. If you saw Drake London and Penix were way off because Penix is throwing from that left. That slot feels weird. Like it's hard. It was hard for Drake to adjust. That's why him and Drake look so off. Like it's just a weird spiral. So, but with that ball being in the air as long as it was, he had enough chance to adjust to it. Like it wasn't a missile where you're like the ball.
I'm saying it wasn't a missile.
Now it's coming. It's kind of drifting back this way. So, but I mean, he does have value. We're being hard on him for this play.
Yeah, he's value. He plays so hard. He plays so hard.
He plays bigger than the size. He does. He does do some things well. Just got to make that catch though.
Look, man, you just can't drop those passes. That's all I'm saying.
And Lex, the flight he flipped his hips the wrong way. He was expecting the ball on one side and came on the other.
Yeah, he got you could tell like once he wasn't comfortable, he panicked. That's how I looked at it from the replay. Just like you could tell like oh it's coming. Like you could tell it wasn't like I got this. that's a mentality. Even
and
if you're off.
To his thing,
Yeah.
where you're looking up at Jerry World, you're looking at that massive screen.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I'm not saying he should have made the catch. That could have been a deterrent too, because there's a screen that goes the sidelines. Then there's another screen that's facing the end zone. So when you're looking up, you're now seeing two monitors of what you're seeing. So like if that ball, let's just say, and I wasn't looking at the monitor when the play was going. Let's just say you look at the monitor and you see a ball, and then there's a ball in the air, and then there's another ball. And you're like, okay, which one is it? Then you figure out which one it is. Then you kind of have to panic and adjust. So but we all agree that as a NFL wide receiver, you make that catch.
That's it. Basically, as an NFL wide receiver, you gotta make that catch. If you're a high schooler, that's
high school receiver, you better
make the catch too. But
a freshman receiver better make that catch.
Make that catch. But then if you don't make that catch, you could be going to JUCO. So it's okay. It's all right. That's all I'm saying. Like it's all I'm just saying. All right. So other than players that we've spoken of, like the obvious players, like we don't know what we gotta give him his flowers. Your thought on Marcus Mariota, like how he performed, man, because I just thought he was amazing.
I think he didn't look flustered. We always talk about what Jaden learned from Marcus. Marcus got a trade from Jaden.
That's a good point.
There was a play, I'm trying to think of the play, where Marcus, there's initial pressure, he gets out of it, he kind of turns around and he stands there. Old Marcus Mariota would have been
yes, that's true, bro. That's true. That is true.
Reset the field, made a good throw, and it was caught. And I think that impressed me more than anything that of what Mariota did, because he ran when he had to.
Yeah, he did.
Like he was mad at himself. He tripped on the fourth down zone read play.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
He was like, maybe 5 years ago I get there, and then it was like, yeah, we all understand. But he knew when to run, but he made some good throws. Terry's catch doesn't happen without that good throw. Like the touchdown to Ertz was a good throw.
A good throw.
He had about 6 or 7 that were just excellent throws. So I was impressed by that. I think he learned that from Jaden, like not panicking in offense. And I feel like he's really comfortable in Cliff's offense. So the 2 times we've seen him, the offenses look just the same as when Jaden was running it.
Yeah, I like this part. What Aaron said, the way Marcus Mariota plays shows you he can go, and it's giving Jaden Daniels complete confidence when you trust your mentor that you can learn from. I totally agree with that. That's such a good point. And Felix, I ain't gonna lie to you. What you stated was a great point. I never thought about that. You know what I mean? No, we always think about the rookie learning from the vet, right? But just because Jaden is so cool and calm, and if you really do look at the track record of Marcus Mariota, like, yeah, you could say that he's learned this from Jaden. Like, just the composure, to be calm under pressure, to kind of have that mentality of like, okay, this is happening. Don't panic. Go through my progressions and then take off. Like it used to be, to your point, once he saw pressure, he would just take off.
He was gone. And that's easier to defend. And so I think that play more than anything showed the growth that Marcus Mariota has and how he understands that offense. So I do think they make him another offer to stay next year. I really do. Now, there might be some places where he has an opportunity to start, but he's comfortable here. Now, if Cliff happens to leave, which I don't think he does this year, he may want to go with Cliff. Okay. Now, I think that's the only way, but I do think he likes that relationship, and usually quarterbacks are competitors, but very few people understand what James is going through than Marcus Mariota. I mean, you had this Heisman guy, franchise saver. Like, this is the things you can do. These are the things you can't. And I think him being more settled and calm, the offense just works. Even when it was like 3rd and long, it's like, oh my, okay, yeah. Like there was one he made the move, and I think the guy clipped him up because he would have had first down by like 20 yards. Yeah. But he knew.
Oh yeah, he would have had I threw that long one too. He would have good one on that one.
I mean, in the middle of the field was.
Oh my God, I felt like he would have like at least 30, 40-yard run at least. I felt like, but I kind of like this too. This thought with what Jeremy said about Mariota. Mariota made us forget all about wanting to keep percent. I agree. I wanted to keep percent over Mariota. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. But I like Mariota. I just want to make sure he got his flowers. All right, so give me a low key player who an unknown player who deserved more attention, deserved their flowers for today's performance. Other than the obvious,
I'm gonna go with Jeremy Chin.
Okay,
and if people don't realize the Swiss Army knife they have in Jeremy, like think of tight ends who've had good games against Washington, and you can't think of many. And I know Kyle Pitts caught that 4th down last week. That was a good throw. That was one play. Kyle Pitts didn't dominate a game. Jake Bergson had a terrible game today. Absolutely terrible. Chin is very underrated in that category because his knock on him in Carolina was being able to cover. He's shown that he can cover, and he's physical. And you don't see him getting beat much. You don't see him out of position much. You don't see him say much, but he's a very violent defender, and that's what Dan Quinn wants. Apparently, it just came out that Commanders in Tampa are the Sunday night game.
Yeah, the Sunday night game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay. The Sunday night game? Oh, it's stressful.
Oh, now I got to wait all day. All right. Let me fly out Sunday morning.
Sunday night game? Okay. My man has Mikey as the low-key dog.
I don't have Mikey as low key because I think
I think he was just a dog, bro. I don't think he was.
You saw Mikey make plays. There was one. It was not really a dig, but it was route, and he nailed it. Oh,
yeah, you talking about when he came?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm like, it's coming. Well, it kind of makes sense there on Sunday night because
you know what it does. JD on prime time, it does make sense.
JD on prime time,
yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
You can sell that.
That's
another Heisman on Heisman.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, you can do that. Yes, you can. You can go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So I think I don't think Mikey's low key anymore. Yeah, I think Mikey is known, and Mikey can go anywhere. And so, it was so excited when Mikey got hurt.
I was so happy.
I think he's validated. Adam Peters, and that is a solid pick.
That was the pick. That's
a starter who's going to be a starter on your team for a while.
Yeah,
that can't be understated.
I like this one. Jeremy though. Loki Trustway. That's a good one, bro. He did. He was big. Trustway's good.
He flipped the field a lot. Yeah. And like I said, it made Dallas have to work the field. And when you make a team have to go long periods of time, they sort of trip themselves up, and they were able to hold Dallas to a lot of field goals. So,
yeah, he did say that. I forgot Nick Saban was gassing my dude. He was gassing them. George has a question. He said, did DQ say it was the plan all along to go with Mariota in the second half, or was it based on the O-lines and JD's struggles?
No, I had assumed, and me and some of the other media had assumed that the plan was going to be, because we had always heard that Mariota was going to play today. Gotcha. So we assumed that it would be, all right, this was just the time. He ran a half, and then now it's Mariota's turn. Gotcha. Dan Quinn ended up in his pressers said that he had Jaden had some leg soreness. Yeah. So once he heard that, he made the decision to switch to Marcus. And we asked Marcus when did he find out. He said on the way out for the second half. So I think they were being extra careful with Jaden. And then Quinn, he mentioned it. He was like, I need this. The quarterback's legs were going to be a factor today. And so I needed to make sure that somebody that can move around. And we saw Marcus's mobility there.
He looked fresh. Did he look fresh though?
Yeah, I mean, that's the Marcus that I knew he could be, but I didn't think that would happen again because
he looked like Marcus. He liked the Oregon. I mean, the Oregon was slightly faster, but he looked closer. That's the closest to the Oregon Marcus I've seen in a long time in terms of the running.
And so he was able to move, and that changed the whole complexion of the offense. So it wasn't. JD was not benched. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm. Oh hell no, everybody knows that.
People have asked me. I'm not lying.
Are you serious? Daxy's benched?
People actually asked me that.
They're just being weird.
If that game was the playoff game, Jaden stays in there.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Third, they're being extra cautious because it's JD, and that's your joy. And then they know that Marcus is more than capable, which he just proved. So everything checked off in that situation. So it wasn't a panic, it wasn't a that. They were just like, Dan Quinn said it was his decision and his decision alone. So that's what Dan did. That. And if Dan does anything, Coach Quinn, he protects his players.
Sure does.
He'll take bullets for them, but he'll also do what they need to do to be healthy. That's why Marshawn didn't play. Because you don't.
Well, you're telling me, Mark? Hey, Felix,
I'm telling you, Marshawn.
He gonna play. He better play upstairs.
If today was a playoff game,
he be playing. All right, so I need to hear, man. I'm gonna hold you to it, Felix, man. I need to do it play bad.
When they play Sunday night next week, all right. Marshawn Lattimore is gonna run out on number 13.
We good then. We good. we good. We definitely good then. I feel better about my life then. All right, so Felix, who would you give? We did that, but who would you give the game ball to?
Mariota,
yeah. My man Jeremy believes he agrees with you. Says Mariota as well.
I think Mariota deserved it just because he was able to spark the offense, and then everybody responded. So yeah. I really would give it to him. He deserves it. I mean, we saw if you didn't see the quarterback documentary, that was tough.
Yeah.
He just had a baby a week ago. So I was like, I know you're not getting any sleep. He kind of smiled. But he's excited he has a baby boy. And all of us dads, when you get that son, it just changes your life. But what he's meant to the team, and I think everybody saw what he said to JD in overtime last week. That moment. I think that was tremendous. So I think the team respects him. So I would give him the game ball for that because he didn't make it about himself. He made it about the team. Jaden was on the sideline celebrating, jumping around, which means he's okay, people. He was jumping around. Celebrating and happy for Marcus. So I would do Marcus.
Yeah, I think Marcus was definitely. I mean, truth be told, I think Marcus. I would have Marcus with the game ball. But I really want to say, I really kind of want to go Terry, but I'm not gonna lie to you. But my man Juan on X said Terry. Obviously, Terry's big catch. My man Airborne Commander said Marcus Mariota on X. My man Danny said Mariota. But yeah, for me, dang, I want to have either. Oh yeah, Riri says game ball goes to Terry McLaurin. And I want to say DC Homer Sports on X has Mariota as well. So, and he said he wasn't a Mariota fan at first, but he thinks Mariota deserves a game ball. So I'm gonna go Mariota. I think he made all the big plays. He gave him a spark. Let's just keep it being. It would be Mariota. But my honorable mention would be Terry McLaurin because on that drive to win the game, he had so many big catches on crucial downs. You know what I'm saying?
There was one or two where it's like, I don't know how the ball got in there, but
exactly.
And from my vantage point, it was like, oh, he got the ball. Okay, good.
Yeah. And when you saw the replay, he secured it. So, but yeah. So to your point, yeah, there were some close ones, and he came up with it. And those are catches where they was put in a place where he's supposed to catch it. But we talked about earlier, when you're a good wide receiver, you make that catch pretty easily. And Terry did though. Yeah,
and then shout out to him to getting the record. And people were like, well, Art Monk didn't get it. And I was like, Art Monk used to get all the yards, and Gary Clark and Ricky Sanders
touchdowns. Yeah. And you got Ricky Sanders. It was split. It was
split because it was three really good ones. So but shout out to Terry. I think Terry's been the utmost team player, and I think he's been through so much in this franchise that he deserves his flowers. He deserved the Pro Bowl. Just those type of accolades, and the Washington fans have always advocated for him. But I think the national,
beautiful,
people kind of understand now, and so he did well because remember he didn't have the best of games last week, against AJ Terrell. So it was good to see him get those plays, get those catches, and touchdown. I mean, as soon as they line up, it's 1-on-1. I'm like,
tough.
Give him the thing, and I mean, he did it. So That definitely would be second place if there was a second game ball. But I think Mariota, because still with the lack of the running game, his legs changed the game, and then it allowed his arm to come into play, which allowed the receivers to make plays.
Yeah, hold on. We got a couple good. We said what did my man say? Burgundy. He said they were scoreboard watching as well.
Well,
were they? I don't think they really.
Asked Quinn. Quinn said he didn't know.
Okay.
I was looking around AT&T for like scores of other places, and they didn't see any. And during timeouts, they weren't putting it in there. So they may have, when they went in at the half and saw that Green Bay was losing, but I didn't really see anything else. So I was looking around for the score, and then we were watching both. But they said he didn't know. Quinn said he doesn't know. So I think it was just the simple fact that they came out flat and then woke up and won it at the end. So I think it's more that watching the scoreboard.
Some of y'all new to this the Urban Sports Team YouTube channel. Hit that red subscribe button real quick. Also like the video. We're coming on the stretch and this thing off and read a couple of comments before we end this off. Did I read this one? Martin said, congrats to Terry McLaurin for getting the game-winning touchdown catching, including the 13th of his season, most in the franchise. It's unbelievable how long it took to have a great season thanks to JD5. I know, right? He's had so many. He's put up good seasons with limited quarterback play. I'm just happy for him just to kind of have a quarterback that is able to get him the football the way he deserves to get the football. And also, to be real with you, just a staff too that kind of sees his importance. I know at times we look at it like he needs to get targeted more, but they do understand the importance of Terry McLaurin to this team. And I think, and you know what I mean? So I think that's the dope thing about it. Chris said about Oos. He's talking about Frankie. I thought Oos got hurt for a second, bro. He did get hurt. He got hurt. I saw he initially got hurt too because he got.
It looked like a stinger.
Yeah.
It's the way he did it, but then he came out. I was like, okay, they'll keep him out because they're being cautious. Then the next round, he put the something on and walked right out there, and he played fine. So I think he got blocked in the arm wrong, and it was just a stinger. I do agree. As far as we talk about snubs, Wags and Louisville should have been in the Pro Bowl. If you look at, I think for their game effect, now linebackers are weird because they're just going.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just
going straight tackles. So
yeah,
like what's his name? And 49ers has a bunch of tackles.
Warner, Warner is like,
but like if you, I don't see as many linebackers as versatile as Louisville. From playing, he's playing middle one time, he's playing outside, he's rushing the passer, he's covering people, he's all over the place. Like, so I think he got snubbed. But if Wagner, he's top 10 in the league in tackles.
And Wagner,
I mean, that is those two guys I think are right there. And for them to have the record they have and only have two representatives, it's like
I like that point though. Like to have two, 12 wins. That's the point.
I mean, Detroit has 8 or 9 because they should. They have 14 wins,
yeah.
But Washington has 12. Like it wasn't like Washington had 4 wins. So
how many Minnesota has then? Like they should have a lot, right? Do they have a lot?
I think so. I can't remember. I thought Detroit had the
Addison didn't make the Pro Bowl, right?
I don't think he did. I think he came on late. I mean. Receiver was so tough, and
it was tough though. It is tough.
AFC was even worse. So but no, NFC was tough because you knew Jefferson was going to get one.
Yeah, Jefferson's going to definitely get it. Jefferson's still up there in yardage, even though he's not like this wild.
Right,
he's still like up there in yardage.
Go ahead.
Deluxe says the team also tied the 91 team for second most points in the season in franchise history. Yeah, dope, man. Congrats, man. This team's good, man. Cliff has a lot in his bag in terms of what he's going to ask for, regardless of what you folks think.
Absolutely. I mean, for those of us who remember that 91 team,
oh man,
putting points in your head. They were putting points in your head, like, and it was coming from all angles too. Like it wasn't just one way to score. Like,
it wasn't.
One day it'd be Art Monk, blah blah blah. By next day is Reggie over your head. The next thing you know, Ernest Miner's running down your throat.
It'd be a game with Gerald Riggs may have like 4 or 5 rushing rushing touchdowns from like goal line because he was so automatic from the red zone. Yeah. Man, we had, like you said, man, it was art. It was Ricky.
I mean, look at that backfield: Gerald Riggs, Ernest Miner, and
Ricky Irvins.
Ricky Irvins
in the backfield. Shoot, Stan Humphries was the backup.
Come in and be a scat back and just burn people because everybody was tired of banging up against Riggs and all that.
Yeah, Stan Humphries was the backup, and he ended up being a Charger. It's a starter's Charger, and a couple years later, and took him to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just that team was that team.
Yeah. So to tie that team, it shows Cliff. It shows the talent of Jaden Daniels. I mean, there's a lot to go there.
Nah, he went. That's not a fit for him. And I like Drake. That's not a fit for him.
I don't think Drake's the same type of QB.
Yeah, they're different. They're a little different.
He can move around, but he's not mobile in that sense. I think Cliff would need more Chicago.
Yeah,
just because I think Caleb can move more. Plus,
Caleb like this.
Plus the weapons you have. I think that would be the better fit for Cliff. I don't see him walking this year unless he just gets a dynamite deal. But I don't know.
I would say I think Chicago. I think he would go for Chicago. But this is the thing. I think that because he failed, I hate using the term failed, but it is what it is, right? Because he didn't go well in Arizona, right? And you don't know when you're going to get another opportunity to be a head coach because you don't know where your stock is going to be at. His stock is pretty good now. Like, just for instance, we had this discussion before, like the Texans OC, his stock was pretty high last year. It ain't the same right now. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of take it. And especially and Cliff's situation is like far different because he had disappointment, right? So you want to get back out there pretty quickly. And you don't want it to go. And I'm not saying it's going to go down next year. So I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that there's a situation where it may not be as good as it was this year. So why not do it now while you're hot rather than waiting? You got to take that opportunity. Just like we were talking about any like an African-American coach or anything like that. Like your stock is high. You got to take the job. You just got to take the job.
You might end up like Mayo, which I think is a terrible situation for him.
Yeah, it's a bad situation.
Because, it was a bad situation, but you got to take it when he gets there. I think Ben Johnson's going to be numero
That's
uno.
The one. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's the one.
Under him. Now, Cliff could maybe see, and talking with Dan, after Dan had the Falcons job and he lost it, he sat for a year, then he went to Dallas and was a coordinator for 4 years. So I think it allowed Dan to put some perspective on things, work on his own. So now when Dan has got to his 2.0, he's approached it totally different from the way he approached the Falcons job.
Yeah. And he is definitely
that labor with the staff he built, his expectations, how he deals with teams, like all that stuff. As Dan learned after he lost that first job with the Falcons, and then he was a coordinator for a while. So maybe he gets that. Maybe he gets that from Dan. Like, hey, I sat around for a while, but Dan would be equally healthy if he does get a job, and I think Dan would advocate for him.
Yeah, and I do think that for Washington, they're in a good situation compared to like others. I just feel like because of the staff they have, Anthony Lynn, Brian Johnson, and even that for like Brian Johnson has a rapport with Mariota because they were in Philly together, so that can kind of help with that situation with Marcus Mariota for a backup. So I just feel like they got a situation where it's built, and even the quarterback coach, I think he's learning under all this. I think he's getting even better. You know what I mean? So
Tavita,
yeah.
He was one of the two that stayed from the last regime.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
So there's a connection there, and if you saw the mic'd up with JD, Tavita talks to him. Tavita talks to the
so you already know
the most.
Yeah,
so if that there's things there if Cliff leaves, and so I still don't think he quite does, but if you get offered the Bears and then you might have to take that opportunity. Or you just sit and bide your time for a while and do this and then go back to what you enjoy. Because if you're an offensive guy, you want to be offensive. If you're a defensive guy, you want to be defensive. When you're head coach, you can't really do it. Like you got to do so many other things and management things, and you don't get to do that love of coaching. So maybe Cliff has that bug, and he's like, I like calling offense because that's my thing. So who's to say? But I think Ben Johnson sets the bar.
Oh man, I agree with you, and he should.
It's going to react off of what he does.
Oh, he should. I was talking about. I said this earlier. Like Mayo being gone, you got Ben Johnson, who's got Carolina roots. Wouldn't be surprised if that's a intriguing place for him to coach May. Knowing the the relationship there. If I'm Chicago, I'm throwing the bag and trying to get him in Chicago. I'm just gonna be real with you. But if not, I think everything after. I think for me, in terms of offensive-minded coaches, I think Cliff would probably be second, like in line to whoever. So he's got to work off of Ben Johnson, right? To your point, he's got to work off of Ben Johnson. So it is what it is. But hey, Felix, man, I appreciate you being on, bro. Before we let you go, man, how can folks catch you on social media? How can they catch your content, man, and your great work?
All right. On X, my name's right there, bcommander2407. On IG, Bless Commander. All my work is on 1340 AM Fox Sports. You can catch all my work there. Looks like I'm going to Tampa, so be heading to Tampa Sunday night. But you can catch all my work on those two places.
Hey man, Felix, man, thanks for being on, bro. You be safe. I'm gonna try to sort this. Get some prep work for the snow.
Hey man.
Oh man, the energy is going to be real.
I can get back to DC tomorrow. I'll be back.
Oh man, I'm hoping we get 2 inches. Forget this. F this like 14 inches stuff. Give me 2 inches now. I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? My job was shut down for 2 inches. I already know how my job would be.
I work in the school closed early.
Yeah, I hope it's like, oh, okay, we gotta shut it down. Okay. All right, man. All right, Felix, man. You take it easy, bro.
All right, man.
All right, man. All right, same here. Cool, man. Felix cool to the other side of the pillow, man. Real good dude. Oh man, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Taking your heart. 91 knowing you lost before teams. 91 knowing you lost before teams took the field. Facts. Teams knew what time it was, bro. They knew what time it was. They absolutely knew. 91 when they hit the field, they knew they was going to take this L. No lies told. No lies told, bro. Appreciate you, Chris. Appreciate you. Yeah, but he said he wants to still be a head coach. He said this. He said he still wants to be a head coach, which lets you know where his mind is at. So you never know, man. You never know what's in a man's heart. Like there's an ego. I said this before in our preview show of this game. There's an element of arrogance when you believe that you're as good as whatever. So I just think there's nothing wrong with that. You're supposed to be confident in yourself. I think Cliff thinks he could do wonders in this league. So he's confident in himself and his ability. So I'm not surprised if he goes anywhere. For be real with you, I think would I like him to stay here? Of course. For Jayden, who doesn't want continuity, but I wouldn't be surprised if he left. To be honest with you. All right, man. Again, I'm going to say it again. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, our audio podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. You can also follow us on X at Urban Sports Scene, IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. We have one of those too. Also follow us. Also, make sure you subscribe to our Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel, which you're on right now, and hopefully you're subscribed right now and you like this video, and you've probably put a comment or two. So hopefully you've done all that. Appreciate y'all for doing that right now. See, I claim it. Thank you. Also, you can check us out on our website, which is www.urbansportscene.com. Anyway, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. This has been a dope show. You guys make it fun. Man, we in the playoffs. We got a game against Tampa Sunday night. And you know how we do on payback days, on payback games. Oh, man, Jayden on prime time. It's a sight to behold. Appreciate you, Paul. It's a sight to behold. Jayden on prime time on a revenge game. Could it be? Could we do it? I don't know the league ready. I don't know the league is ready. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. You dig? Deuces. I'm out.
Peace.